Hey everyone, Jason here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video on, this is kind of a part 2 to the top 10 genres of music that I have, that I haven't written, but I'll possibly do in the future. So this is kind of a part 2 to that, because there are more, genres that I wanted to sit down and talk about. So yeah, so a couple things before we get into it is, first, a side note. There will be another song from the new Technology's Music album coming out on Friday. Of course, I will let you guys know in a community post when that is coming out. So that'll be coming out. It'll be a more underground sounding song compared to the other songs that have come out from the album so far. And then I'll also let you guys know in a community post the release date for when the album is coming out. So be on the lookout for those community posts. And then yeah, so before we actually get into the list, the second thing is I wanted to talk about the genres that I've done, that I've written, that I've actually, experimented with that were on the first list. So I've done about 2 of them so far from the first list, that being drum and bass and synthwave. Actually 3 of them. Drum and bass, synthwave, and dark ambient. So I've done 3 of the genres that I've mentioned. So let's actually get into the list of the top. It'll probably be 11 genres like it was last time, because there was a genre that I really wanted to mention that I didn't include it in the first video, I don't think. So yeah, let's get into the list. Number 10, pop music. Of course, your generic pop like Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga. I like all those people. I want to write some of those songs and all that stuff, right? Pop is just, it's really good music. It's the best. It's one of the best genres to listen to and create. I was joking, right? I'm actually not going to create pop music. I don't listen to pop music. I don't really like pop. I do like the old school stuff, of course. But all the stuff from recently, nah, I'm not listening to it. It's not that good. Let's get into the actual genres, though. So 10 is acid or psychedelic rock or indie rock, if you want to call it that. So, and I actually wrote this stuff down, so I could remember. So 10 is psychedelic rock. So as we're talking stuff, there are kind of subgenres to it, but we're talking stuff like, if we're talking newer stuff, we're talking like Mac DeMarco. If we're talking older stuff, we're talking like Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is kind of like psychedelic rock, but you can also call them progressive rock. But we're talking stuff like that. The main subgenre I want to do is like the new stuff. So the way that it works in GarageBand, you just have to have bass. It's like a regular rock song, just more psychedelic. It has synths in some of the songs too. So bass, guitars, vocals, drums, and synths. So that's what it takes to, write a indie or psychedelic rock song. It would not be really that hard to do in GarageBand, probably. So, yeah, I'll probably do it sometime. It would be really cool to write a song in that genre. Number 9 is funk, not funk. We'll get to that later. Funk, F-U-N-K, not P-H-O-N-K. We'll get to that later. So funk. Hint, if you watched the last stream, I did kind of write a funk song, but it was more new wave sounding funk. The funk I'm kind of talking about is maybe, maybe some 80s stuff. Maybe some, more 80s sounding songs, or maybe I could even go to that 70s funk. Of course, there's a lot of stuff I could go into that I could possibly play around with GarageBand. I would just have to find the right instruments and, make it work. There's a lot of funk drums in GarageBand, but there's also some guitar synths, and, you just got to find the right stuff and make it work, Again, like a lot of the genres I'm mentioning here, it's not really that hard in GarageBand, because you can do a lot of stuff, but it's cool. So we're moving on to 8, which is Chill House. So Chill House, I've never done this before, but, we're talking, artists like Prida, I guess you could say that's kind of chill house, some of that stuff. You could say, Dead Mouse, some of that stuff is also chill house. Yeah, so Chill House, I haven't done this in GarageBand. It's pretty much just another subgenre of house. It's just more chill. That's all I really have to say about what it is. It's got to be very melodic. I have to find, some synths that really make the song melodic. Find some cool drums, and then you're good to go. And you got your chill house or even blog house song. So, yeah. 7 is down tempo. So what I mean by down tempo is really chill techno sounding tracks that are not, they're not in your normal EDM tempo range of about 120 to about 150. They're about from 80 BPM to about 110 BPM, if you want to say that. So they're not that fast at all. There are more subgenres of down tempo. It's more, you can have it range from more melodic to more dark, but yeah, but it's a really cool genre to experiment with. There's a lot you can experiment with it. And yeah, I guess why we're on the note of electronic music and down tempo music, let's mention IDM. I didn't write this down, but let's mention IDM, intelligent dance music. So, it's really random. It's really experimental. It can range from house sounding tracks to like drum and bass sounding tracks, and it can range from chill stuff to experimental stuff. That's why it's called IDM. It's just, I don't know, it's just weird. Of course, you have, the main IDM artist you might know is Aphex Twin. And yeah, and there's more IDM artists out there. I just can't think of them right now. But, yeah, you just gotta make a weird and random experimental song to make IDM work. I don't know how I'm gonna make it work, because there's so many different styles that I could do, but, yeah, that's just there. Alright, 6 is death metal. So death metal, some of it is really complex and really technical, but some of it's not, just depends on the style. And then you have the death metal vocals, which I don't really know how to do. So if I was to write a full-on death metal song, it'd probably be more melodic death metal with like an instrumental in GarageBand. But if I was to use another music program like later on, I'd probably write, maybe write a song with vocals on it. Because that would be really cool to mess around with and experiment with for a genre of music. Alright, 5 is classical. Alright. People might say in the comments, if you leave a comment on my videos, Sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. But people might say in the comments about this genre, Jason, you have written symphonic music with boss fight. Yes, I have. But we're not talking full-on classical. We're talking 3 to 4 minute songs that don't really get that technical and don't really change tempo. With actual classical music, it changes tempo a lot. There are lots of parts. It gets technical. Some of the songs are more than 4 minutes long. They're like, they can range from like 5 to 10 minutes even. Speaking of stuff, hint, hint, at the end of the season, there might be a classical sounding song coming out. So be on the lookout for that. I will post an update about that when that, when I feel like announcing that. Probably here in about maybe a month or something. I don't know, but I'll announce it before it comes out. But yeah, classical would be really, really, really cool to experiment with. So yeah, I like it. 4, funk. P-H-O-N-K, funk. So yeah, funk. One of my favorite genres of music to listen to, actually. But kind of a little bit difficult to write in GarageBand. And here's why. It's not impossible, it's just difficult. The thing with it is you have to have a cowbell from an 808 drum that is pitched to make it sound, like funk. You have to have, well, you don't have to, but it is recommended if you when you write a funk song to have the cowbell, not the cowbell, I already mentioned that, to have the background vocals of someone rapping. Because here's how I like to describe funk. It's one of those genres that's kind of in between electronic and rap music. Because funk was basically built off of old school rap, particularly gangsta rap. So, I kind of like to say it's one of those genres in between funk and electronic music. Just like if we're talking new school rap, the genre that's in between that and electronic is signalcore, which is maybe a genre I'll play with. That's more like Ethan's from Traptendo. That's more of his style. I haven't ever wanted to mess with that, but yeah, that's around. It's called signalcore, and you have artists in there like Odatari, who's the other one? Steria. And, I mean, I don't listen to signalcore all that much, but I know a couple artists. But, yeah, back to funk. And then you have to have the right sounding funk drums and a really cool bass line to make a funk song good. So, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but, I'll do it sometime, and, probably when I get more experienced. It's not a genre I'm going to try out, right now, like some of these other ones, but I'll do it, and it'll be really fun. 3, progressive metal. So, progressive metal is, sorry, it's just, speakers. Auxiliary. Alright, I turned it back on. Anyway, progressive metal is a really cool genre. I mean, I listen to it sometimes. I like bands like Dream Theater, Rush, if you call Rush progressive metal. Yeah. And Animals as Leaders, which is an instrumental band. And there's plenty of progressive bands. So progressive metal, the songs are really long. It would be difficult to write in GarageBand because what I would have to do stuff like I did for The Experience and other songs where I would have to merge the songs because there are parts in progressive songs where it's a completely different tempo than what the other parts were. And progressive songs usually range from 6 minutes to 30 minutes. So they can be long, long epics if they wanted to. I like to call it basically the metal version of trance, if you want to say that. It's the metal version of what trance is for its electronic progressive genre. Yeah. But of course, there's subgenres in that genre. In progressive metal, there's gent, which that would be really cool to write because there's not really that many tempo changes. It's just time signature and technical polyrhythms. But which if you listen to that one Meshuggah song, it's called Bleed. It goes like. Let me try to do it here. Let me try to air drum it. I'm gonna fail at this, but. Yeah, I failed at that, but that's basically kind of what a polyrhythm is. There are other songs that Meshuggah has, like it goes that's just another example. Yeah, progressive metal is a really interesting genre. I want to try it out. Yeah, it would just be really cool. Jazz, next, number 2. So for jazz, it would be probably more technical. It would be really fast. It would have, it would sound like probably like Marcus Roberts, where you'd have the piano, the upright bass, the drums, and, some trumpet players. This is what it would sound like, where, the jazz that you hear in the movie, Whiplash. So, yeah, really fast, really technical. That's the kind of jazz I would go for, with them really technical drums and really fast brass and piano. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really listen to much jazz, but it would probably be fun to create. And and people might say, "Oh, Jason, you kind of technically have created a jazz song with Grow." Yeah, that wasn't a jazz song. That was just a jazz part. Because that song is weird chord. That's what that song is. So yeah, don't count that one. Because that's weird core, and it focuses on all different genres. Anyway, let's talk about number 1, which is modern metal, which is the genre that kind of inspires me the most because I listen to it a lot. But modern metal, we're talking like heavy metal mixed with new metal, maybe mixed with some hard rock, with some metalcore. We're talking about like the 5 major genres: thrash, metalcore, hard rock, new metal, and heavy metal. So that's what I like to define kind of modern metal is. Alright, let me just tell you my goal. In the next maybe several years, I don't even know when, but at a point in my musical journey when I'm not using GarageBand, my goal, I want to try to make a whole modern metal album with vocals and everything. It'll have some ballads, it'll have some heavy ragers, some heavy jams, but it'll be an album just, with some modern metal. Modern metal. Excuse me. So that's what it will be. I don't know when it's going to happen, but that's why I put it at number 1, because I want to do a whole album of that stuff. Not just one song, a whole album. It would be so cool. But I don't know when I would do it. It would probably be like at least a couple years down the road. At least like 2 or 3 years down the road that I would probably do it. But when I do, it's going to be really cool. Yeah, so those are all my genres. That's part 2 to the top 10 genres I haven't experimented with, but possibly right in the future. If you haven't watched part 1, go back and watch part 1. just go on my channel and you'll see the video titled Top 10 Genres that I haven't experimented with, but possibly right in the future. You'll see part 1 there. And then after you watch part 1, watch this video. So, if you like the video, get a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. If you would like, leave me a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.